of Durgashtami, this 8th day of Navratri, dedicated to the Divine Mother. Durgashtami is such a special and auspicious day. Let us take a moment and allow our eyes to close together for a few moments of meditation. Allow the awareness, the attention to pull inwards. Into that experience of infinite consciousness, infinite awareness, infinite oneness and merging, melting in the self over these last days. We've awakened, opened the energy centers of the being, the chakras, the physical energy and subtle energy of the being. We've worked with the different demons, those aspects of the ego that keep us separate, that keep us stuck, that keep us small and trapped, that keep us prisoners instead of being free. And each day as we've worked with a different form of the ego, we've connected with the form of the Mother Goddess, the slayer, the conqueror, the vanquisher of all the demons. And as we've connected with the presence of the Mother Goddess within ourselves, as we've let go of the different forms of the ego, from I-ness and mine-ness, into the subtle forms of the games of the mind, as we've become free, free through awareness, free through consciousness. As we've become free, we're able to experience a stillness, a spaciousness, within the self. Allow yourself to drop into that spaciousness. Into that infinitely expanding consciousness within the self. Bring the awareness to your heart, not the physical heart, not the organ or the muscle, and not even the energetic heart, not the Anahat chakra, but rather bring the awareness to that place, that state, that experience of pure love within you. That experience that expands throughout the being of pure love. It's not love of an object. It's love as the energy of the divine. And in the center of that experience of love, you can envision it as a lotus flower with infinite petals that are opening. In the middle of that infinitely petaled lotus of love, allow yourself to hold the vision of the divine. Whether you worship God in the form of Shiva, in the form of Krishna, in the form of Ram, or in any of the infinite forms of any religious tradition, it doesn't matter. Or if you worship God without a form, then hold that experience of formlessness. But meditate upon the presence of the divine at the center of the infinitely opening, infinitely blossoming lotus of love within your energetic heart. Allow all the awareness, all the attention to be upon that presence of the divine. As the energy of your heart, the energy of love, expands and expands outward. Slowly bring the palms of your hands together at chest level. And bow the head to that presence of the divine within you. The presence of the divine love. And the presence of God at the center of that love. Gently bring the palms of the hands together. Rub them against each other. Press the palms of your hands into your closed eyes. Slowly lower the hands and open the eyes. This is the day, this day of Durgashtami, is the day dedicated to the Mother Goddess in the form of Maha Gauri, who from the age of 8 years old was engaged in such deep, such devotional prayers, sadhana, love for Bhagawan Shiva. She's the embodiment of the innocence of love for God, the innocence of this 8-year-old girl who meditates upon Lord Shiva in her heart all day, every day, until finally he blesses her, takes her. And what I love about this, there's so many beautiful meanings, and we'll talk about a lot of them. But what I love at the core of it is, it's not about accessories. It's not about what she has. It's not about what she does. We've got so many wonderful stories throughout our scriptures reminding us that what God wants is just our love, just our devotion. It's not about being covered in gold. It's not about the accessories. It's not about anything. It's just about love and devotion. Puja Swamiji always shares a very beautiful story of a young boy who's in temple with his family. And it's the time for the silent prayer. And the priest says, okay, everyone, close your eyes. We're going to have a silent prayer now. And this young boy thinks, I don't know any prayer. I don't know any mantra. I'm only a kid. But the only thing I know is I know my ABCs because we learned those in school. And he says, I know, God, that all the prayers and all the mantras are formed out of these ABCs. So I'm just going to sing for you the ABCs. And then you, God, you can make whatever prayer, whatever mantra you love best. And so this little boy closes his eyes and he starts to sing A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And he goes through his whole ABCs. And when Puja Swamiji shares the story, he always says, God is happier with that little boy and his love and his devotion, in his innocence, than he is with all of the people chanting perfect prayers, but whose minds are someplace else, chanting them just as rote, autopilot. It's all about love and devotion. And of course, Bhagwan Ram shows us this so beautifully when Ravan's sister Shurpanakha comes decked out, fully accessorized, fully beautiful, but with impure heart, impure mind, impure intentions. And Bhagwan Ram wants nothing to do with her. But Shabri, that simple but devoted village woman, वो तो खुद चल के गए उनके पास. Bhagwan Ram personally shows up at Shabri's door. He can't help it. And in this beautiful day when we worship the Mother Goddess in this form of Maha Gauri, this innocence, purity of innocence, this child who just loves Lord Shiva, loves him with all her heart in her innocence. It's a reminder. It's not about how you're accessorized. It's not about all of the shine and the gold. It's about the gold of the heart. It's about the purity inside. And so after these days of Navratri, where we've worked every day with a different form of ego, a different demon embodying an aspect of our own minds, because of course those are the demons. It's not that demon's going to come out of the tree over there. It's that the demon is within us. The demons we need to slay are our own ways of thinking, our own ignorance, our own ego, our own attachments, our own arrogance and jealousies, our own illusions. That's what's killing us. It's not the demons of the forest. It's not the monsters in the closet. It's the thoughts in our own head, the ways of thinking, the ways that tell us, you're not good enough, you're not enough, something's wrong with you. You're not rich enough, or beautiful enough, or smart enough, or funny enough, or whole enough, or complete enough, worthy enough. Those voices in our head that keep us from really living, from really embodying the divinity of who we are. And those voices that tell us that we are separate from others, that life is about grabbing and hoarding because I've got to hold it close to me because I can't trust the universe. Those voices are that which kill us, the demons. So as we've spent these days working with them, working through them, we find ourselves now on Durgashtami, on this day of Maha Gauri, this embodiment of innocent, pure, full, complete love for God. But also, it's the day of Siddhi Datri, the giver, the goddess who gives the siddhis, who gives the powers. And of course, because the goddess is one, we realize that that greatest power is purity, Shuddhi. The greatest siddhi is Shuddhi. The greatest power is purity. Because it's that purity of mind, of heart, of thought that actually enables us to know the truth of who we are. It's that which enables us to connect with that pure love within us. That's not about holding and grabbing and grasping. That's not about separation. Think about the way that a child loves. A child loves, and not just the parent. If you're standing in line at a grocery store, right, and there's a baby in a stroller in front of you or behind you or in someone's arms, and you start making faces with the baby or, playing some hide and seek with the baby, immediately that child connects with you, with love. You see it in the eyes of the child. This absolute purity. But with purity comes faith. With purity comes connection. With purity comes that awareness. I'm whole. I'm complete. I'm full. I'm one with the divine. It's not that you have to become pure. This is a really important point. When we talk about purity, it's not, oh, you are bad on the inside, impure on the inside, wrong on the inside, and you need to do this puja or chant this mantra or say this prayer, then you will become purified. No. All of that which we do for purity is to purify the ignorance of the mind. Who we are, all of us, whoever you are, wherever you are, is pure. That core of who you are is pure. The problem is the mind. And the mind comes in and the mind identifies, not as the purity within, but the mind identifies as the role, the title, the story, the history, the identity as given to us by the outer world. The mind identifies in separation. And so in that, that's when we start to have these aspects of the ego rise within us. That's where we start to experience anger, lust, greed, jealousy. These all arise out of separation. They all arise out of ignorance. It's not an impurity of who you are at the core. So when we talk about purity, it's a purification of the mind so that you can live as the truth of who you are. So that power, that Siddhi, that Siddhi Datri gives us, that the Mother Goddess today on Durgashtami gives us, is that power of purity. To really know who we are. And when we know who we are, we know how to live. Then we live as vehicles, as vessels, as embodiments of purity, of divinity. And that's the great blessing that she gives us today. A lot of times when we think about siddhis, people say, oh, I want to be able to, manifest something. I want a magic wand that I'll just do this, and suddenly mounds of money will arise. Right? Maha Lakshmi, she should give me mounds of money. The prosperity, the wealth, the abundance that Maha Lakshmi gives us is not about coins and rupee bills or dollar bills or euro bills. It's an abundance of knowing that my cup runneth over. An abundance of knowing. As I am one with the infinite divine, I'm infinite. All that I need, I have. All that I need, I am. And that experience of abundance, that's the abundance she gives, as it's not more money, more gold, more treasures. Oh, Mahalakshmi, give me the penthouse suite. Oh, Mahalakshmi, give me the mansion. Oh, Mahalakshmi, give me the Mercedes. No. It's, oh, give me the mind that is pure, that knows that who I am is enough. Rather, who I am is more than enough. Who I am is abundant. And on this day, we'll talk more about Mahalakshmi when Diwali rolls around. But on this day, all over India, all over the world, wherever Indians and Hindus are, people do puja. They do Durga puja to young girls. They bring in young girls, usually from the neighborhood, dress them up, feed them, make them sit, and do their puja. They treat these young girls as the Mother Goddess. These 8-year-old girls, this embodiment of Maha Gauri, they treat these young girls as the goddess. And it's beautiful. It's a wonderful, wonderful tradition. But it has a really important piece to remember. On these days when we worship the Divine Mother, whether we worship her in the form of Ma Durga, Ma Kali, Ma Parvati, Ma Brahmacharini, Maha Gauri, all of the forms we worship these 9 days, and even all of the other forms, whether we worship her in any of those forms, all of those forms exist in the divine daughters, sisters, mothers, wives in our homes. And so as we do Durga Puja in the mandir, or of the young girls We've called into our home and made the home a mandir. Remember, every day, not just on Durgashtami, but the other 364 days a year as well, that Divine Mother, that Mother Goddess is embodied in your daughters, in your sisters, in your wife, in your mother, in the women and the girls, in your neighborhood, in your office, in your community, in our nation, in the world. And what that means is, doesn't mean we have to do all of their puja all the time, but it means at least we have to treat them with love and respect and reverence and care. It means every insult that we do to a young girl, to a woman in our lives, we are doing to Ma Durga, to Ma Parvati, to Ma Saraswati, to Ma Lakshmi. You wouldn't walk into a mandir and slap the murti. You wouldn't walk into a mandir and start insulting the Devi. In the middle of chanting the prayers of the Mother Goddess, you wouldn't suddenly start insulting her or hitting her or harming her. So how do we do that in our lives? How do we forget? We come in, we bow at the feet of the Mother. And then we go out and we have selective abortions, feticide, infanticide, in the worst case. But even if we don't kill them as fetuses and as young girls, we kill so many of the hearts, the lives, the spirits of these young women when we tell them, you're not worthy, you're not good enough. If you had just been a boy, when we treat our boys differently than our girls, not just differently, but better. Difference, of course, is there. But different doesn't mean unequal. There must be equality, even amongst differences. There must be a love, a respect, a reverence, a celebration of the Divine Feminine in all her forms. As we worship these young girls today, let us remember every day, all of the girls, all of the women in our lives are the Devi. And Mother Nature, Mother Earth, they go Shuddhi, feminine, Prakriti, feminine, Shakti, feminine. All of this power of nature, feminine, Dharti Ma, पृथ्वी माँ, वो भी माँ है। तो जब हम माँ की पूजा कर रहे हैं, let us remember to protect, to celebrate, to care for that divine feminine, that divine mother, that mother goddess, whether she's a fetus in a womb, whether she's an unborn fetus in the womb, whether she's a baby, whether she's a young child, whether she's the 8-year-old, Maha Gauri, whether she's a teenage girl, a young woman, an older woman, an elderly woman. She is the Mother Goddess. Whether she's a tree, a river, the earth, nature, she's the Mother Goddess. And as we pray to the Devi, as we worship the Devi, let us remember to worship, to celebrate, to protect that Divine Mother Goddess in all of her forms. Have a beautiful, beautiful Durgashtami. Join us. We will just be having our sacred Ganga Arati, officially starting again today on this sacred day of Durgashtami. Join us as we worship the Mother Goddess in the form of Ganga Ma. Just starting in a couple of minutes. Stay with us today and every day. And we'll see you tomorrow for the Shara.